Oh,
there you go.
Can you guys hear us? Somebody say.
No, it's not. Oh, there it's going. There we go. We're here.
Can they hear me?
I think
You
so.
can hear me.
I can hear you.
Hey, Avian guy. Hey, Eve. Lurking.
Y'all hear us?
I don't see anybody hearing me. No.
It seems there's a kind of a lag from us to the chat. It says hi, Lisa.
Hi,
Put a one
Michelle.
in the chat if you hear us. Put a one in the chat if you hear us. Hi, Michelle.
Put a lightning bolt in the chat.
Michelle hears us. Okay, we're good to go. A taser bolt.
Taser.
Okay, we're ready. We're good to go.
All right. Hey, everybody.
So I'll just
Hey,
mute out.
Jaden, Jody, Virgo, Bob.
I'll be here if
Hi.
you need me.
Okay. My wonder. Oh, there's some taser bolts. I hear an echo. Okay, you guys are trying to learn how to use my laptop here. Constance has been helping me. Okay, you guys are trying to. Hey, crazy chicken lady. My laptop here. What?
You'll have to mute any other tabs you have open of your YouTube. Like if you have your YouTube up on the.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that'll fix your echo.
That was on my phone. Okay. Is everybody ready? Hi, Melissa. Can you guys hear me okay? Don't mute out Constant. I love you on panel. We all love Constance. Okay, let's see if I can get this to work. Here we go. Ernie Shell's interview. Oh, just a minute. I was going to put, there's a link to this channel, Gen C77, in my description. So go check her out. She's got a lot of really good stuff from 2 and 3 years ago with Jodisue, Benny, a lot of really good stuff. Okay, who did I miss? Crazy Chicken Lady. Hi, Northeast Pats. Eve's on top of it. Eve's got me. Okay. Everybody knows the rules. Be respectful to panel guests and chat, please. And my mods know I don't like to time out or block anybody. Okay, ready? Please let this work. It's not working, Constance.
You got to hit push play on the YouTube side. On the YouTube side, not your StreamYard side.
I know, but I
Go
don't
to your YouTube tab.
I don't even have the YouTube tab anymore.
I mean, YouTube tab.
Oh. See, I can't do this.
Yeah, you can.
I'm totally worthless.
Maybe you need to do it again, like stop sharing screen and then use it again, or.
All right, here's your. Oh, that's not what we want. We don't want banned. Okay, just a minute, everybody.
It's our first time doing this, so everybody be patient.
I'm a moron.
No, it's not. It just takes some used to.
Uh-huh. Okay, found it. Okay, here we go.
Did you push play?
Yeah.
It's not playing on my end.
Can you hear it?
It's not playing. The play button is still triangle. There you are again. Now you should just be able to push play from your YouTube side.
I did. It's playing.
No, I don't see it. I didn't see it. You move your little cursor like I did before.
It's not going to work.
Yeah.
Can you just start the vector for me?
Can you what? If you want to present and then stop sharing screen and try to do it again. Just remember to go to your YouTube side to push play. Oh, there you made it big.
Really can't hear it?
Can they hear? Let me see on my YouTube side.
To you on Messenger or something like that. And
I hear it now.
On his live,
I don't see it.
time months ago, they were the same ones that shown on mine.
Oh, there we
he
go.
admitted to being the handoff between the PO box, like he had ordered the handoffs between the PO box and all that shit for summer.
So tell me about the handoff. What's the handoff? Tell me.
Yeah, but there's an echo,
Never studied the case.
Oh, come on now, Ernie. With Summers,
I don't hear an echo.
I never studied the case. Literally, when I found out that Candace had smiled and liked me and she like that, that's the only time I ever was even going in it and everything. Pretty much. I mean, we went to the tracks and shit, but other than that, I mean, I never really looked into it. It made me sick. The whole thing made me sick, Jodisue.
Come on, Ernie.
It made me sick.
Can you hear it?
What did?
The whole thing. The whole.
Okay.
The way that it was spinning out of control.
Now you just got to push pause when you want to talk.
I just don't believe the timeline. I never have believed the timeline.
Well, there's a certain timeline there, for sure.
I mean, I never heard it. I just only heard Don's version of the timeline, and like I said, that's it. That's all I know.
Everybody that day has their own times, right? But then they put those together. But then there's a certain timeline there that exists that we all know collectively it can't be. It's like, between 3:20.
People was given too much time to come up with the timeline. That's what my problem is with it.
Mine was immediate. Like
I never heard yours. That's what I'm saying. I only know the one that was. There was so many damn timelines that was put out that was just ridiculous, and it did not make no sense at all. And some of the things that I was trying to understand.
There's a lot of shit that can't make sense right up at all, Ernie. But I'm like 100% positive, like almost that. Yeah, I mean, obviously Summer, came home because of the stuff at 3:20 that day, because it would have to be at 3:20. They reached home, around 4:30, 4:40, 4:45 that we hear the scream because the message I think to Andy was at 4:52, and so I gave myself a few minutes, ignoring him.
So now she's saying 3:20. We kind of suspected that, but I've never heard her say that before. I can't do this, Constance. It's not working.
Yeah, you're doing fine. You'll just have to bring it up again and then just know to push pause and just don't touch it again.
It disappeared. Oh, you guys, I'm so sorry.
It'll take some getting used to, but it's your first time. Don't get frustrated. As soon as by the time you're done with tonight, you'll be like, "Why? Yeah, there it is." If it was up your ass, you'd know where it is, like my son said. I just present the share screen again Present, share screen. Now it's like it's starting to play.
I didn't
Is it
call
working?
because I didn't
No.
know, you know what I mean? That's like,
I think you shared the wrong
when you
tab.
hear
I
something like
hear
that
it.
and you try to explain it away and you try to.
Well, how would you have known? I mean, did they come to you directly?
There you
See, I don't
go.
know the time. See, I don't know what. See, I'm taking it from a new person looking in. How would you have known? Did they run over you and tell you, run over to you where you're at and tell you?
Yeah, then
Now
just
what
push
did
pause
they
when you
do?
want to talk.
Okay.
How would you have known?
There
Did
you
they run
go.
over you and tell you, run over to you where you're at and tell you automatically? Or
That's no, like, with me, I didn't put two and two together until, I start hearing them yell for Summer and they increase in like intensity, as I'm going down the driveway and things to stand and wait on Andy. And it's like, okay. And then my mind starts going, that fucking scream earlier, and I'm sitting there thinking, holy shit, that's been forever in between. And if, because I automatically knew it wasn't the boys. I knew it was not the boys. It's not what that noise was. That's why I tried so hard to dismiss it. I never thought Summer because Summer was never that far away from the house.
so, you know,
And
so, you know.
and so
Let me ask you a question. Did
they
you
only
see?
started looking for her at somewhere, you know, right there around before 6. But
You know,
Oh,
BK's quiet right now because you're over on my
just a
panel talking
second.
about this, of course.
oh, I've been visiting you for a few days, hoping Tragedy Pitville will bring you back out.
Damn. So let me ask you a question because I didn't know the clothes that she went missing in. She went missing in. I've always had a problem with that because didn't they dress her in her brother's clothes during the last few days?
No, I mean she always kind of just wore whatever, like tomboy stuff, whatever she wanted to wear.
Why would he be saying that? That she was dressed in her brother's clothes? Where'd he get that? Plus, later on, he tells her he didn't know anything about the case.
But the day she vanished, they put her in what was new school clothes in the back after she leaves the lake supposedly, and then um, somehow that changes in between, them getting home and her vanishing, and then there was a couple outfits told, of course, even
That,
to us in there.
so this creek, that supposedly that they was at or something before, where exactly in position location is this place? This creek here. Where's that at?
It's right there. You can see it from the road, Ernie.
So it's the one that's down below there. Is that it?
It's just right there. You've been on Ben Hill, right?
I have delivering pizza.
I know you have when you took the pizza. Do you know the little tile bridge that you cross over? The tile goes under the roadway right there at the little curve.
Oh yeah, but see, that whole hill, the way it goes up and goes around, and it goes up like way up top, and it's like just like sitting on a damn hill, and everything else is under it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like I don't even know. I mean, you could put a fortress under that damn hill.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like you enter the roadway, you can see Candace's Hill and our X Hill or whatnot. But there's sentinels kind of the whole road. But yeah, that creek is the main creek, and it runs through Beach Creek. But
Right.
it was
Okay. I know. Okay. I know what you're saying now.
and
See,
the only reason there was water over on the side of Candace's, to go around was because the tree cutters and brush cutters had dammed it up.
yep.
Had rained just like what 24, 36 hours before, and but the right side of that, if you're going out of the roadway, it was dry, because that's what.
But I just want to know one thing. You ready? Why the fuck you lying?
This isn't me. This is a commercial. Sorry.
Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop fucking lying.
Not sure what they're advertising.
Because that's what.
So
I
this,
start-
I had another question to ask you. The prized possession that BK has, the shoe. How did that come about? How did he get that?
It was up there, just in the yard, whatnot. But honestly, there's some shit behind that I don't fucking like. And I find really big problems with that and other things. But from my understanding, like the pillow was given away that she supposedly sent today, but you don't see the pictures. And then that shoe, one of them found a yard. It's actually on live somewhere. I want to say that Cam and him actually found there. One of them did when they were up there with 423 chasing all in last fall. And they were like, "Oh, can we have this?" And I guess they let them have it, or they just took it. I don't fucking know.
I just find a lot funny with BK in person and all that too as well. Every time it was mentioned, he was there. You know, he done the thing that the TBI had contacted me about and talked about.
Thanks, Anissa. I really need that.
Where he said that I just had a vacation
I'm horrible.
in Smoky Mountains, you know, and then he turns it around and his channel's gone and all that done. That really draw my attention into that because
the channel disappeared about the time that he doxed us, and people I think reported him the first time he came here that fall, and he got the shoe and all that shit, right?
so let me ask you. So he come in. So when was the first time that you know that he was actually up there? The first time?
Around the Dr. Phil episode coming out, because I know he was behind the call and the bullshit, at least some of it.
Yeah.
The TBI falsely coming here because of him twisting, and that last call, really, that I had with last video chat I had at length with Candace, that, you know, and that was right before Dr. Phil was coming out. The false call to TBI had been made, the weird shit went on, and Candace is, I mean, you know, she's always hated BK, despised his ass just like she did Cher. And then somehow they weasel in, you know, and I get this laugh that night on the vid chat. I mentioned BK, and, you know, all this, I'm like, she's still around, and she makes us laugh, and I'm like, oh fuck, she's, you know, now with the BK thing, you know, and that was not a good sign. And, you know, there's other things there, but, you know, it's
Jody, you had reached out to me back earlier, and we didn't get to talk. I remember something about that. I think it was in chat, wasn't it, or something like that. So we need to talk, and we do need to talk. I want to talk to you about something, not on the internet, not just nothing, you know, just something, just to. You have the same kind of, well, how do I say it? Thing I have about the shoe thing and the sickness with that. I believe that because something really, really toiled with my mind on that. And
well, I mean, you gotta think, like, way back during like the fundraiser, right? That they had the first one before they tried to let off the second one, and I screwed that up for them too. They were already sending me stuff on you and trying to say that you had taken Summer and all this other stuff, and I looked into it, and I think you'd sent paperwork in on the fundraiser to somebody, and I looked up your Facebook pages, but they were sending me pictures of your family's houses, all these other things, and then it began to where they were sending us pictures and inboxes to where they were saying they had watched Candace and Dawn drop off. Candace and Dawn had been seen dropping it off, but then there was a jacket that really did look like Summer's that they put in a creek behind a hotel, and they said they, and all sort of shit, and they were trying to get us all to call in, and it really worried me, like they were trying to set up shit or something. It's been so many levels of foul and fucked up since YouTube got involved, Ernie.
I heard Jodisue say before that there was 4 fundraisers. Does anybody else remember that? I think she said she should be critiquing me this tonight. We're done here. I thought she said she was involved in one of the first 2. Benny was, she said, in PG. I remember that. I didn't know there was that many. I didn't get involved in that.
I understand that.
And it's worrisome because some of it does lead back to even locals who, for some reason, were watching Ben Hill and all of us before even Summer fucking managed. And I don't understand that. And they had the first ideas for the marathons. And
you see,
I know this just like he knows that Andy's an abuser, you know, and y'all have heard him say that.
Do you notice how when Jodisue talks about locals involving themselves in the case?
He's heard Andy beating on us and the kids.
She doesn't include herself. She acts like she's above the rest of the people. I'm really asking for it, aren't I?
Crying, and honestly, the violence on our hill was far more and worse than what was over on theirs. But the thing is I've also had Don turn to me and admit to doing that to at least one of his sisters. And right. I told him, you know, so I know, but what you have there is somebody that's very base, in tune with other monster type things, you know, and he knows the statistics. He knows that nobody's taking Summer for Disneyland. And I think that at first it was a lot easier maybe for them to deal with that or Dawn. Now, it could be me just trying to excuse it and still because I don't know who's guilty, I don't know who's done, I don't know who's responsible, and none of us will until FBI, TBI arrests somebody, right? But I don't want to on anybody, but Dawn and them have used past tense with Summer before.
Act up, you could get snatched up. Act up, you could get snatched up. Act up, you could get snatched up. Dirty ass, baby girl, you need to back up.
Who's guilty, I don't know who's done, I don't know who's responsible, and none of us will until FBI, TBI arrests somebody, right?
I think it's so interesting how she's changed her outlook on this. As we go on, you'll see even more, like, she makes excuses for Don showering with Summer, like, we can't judge what other people do. Some people would think that was normal. I just think it's so interesting how here she's defending the Wells, which is so different from now.
But I don't want to on anybody, but Dawn and them have used past tense with Summer before dark, even at night, and then they started after a couple of weeks going okay, and they were using present tense language, which to me I think means that.
Well, the cocaine crack and the hotel shit didn't sit well to me either. With what he had made reference to about, she's probably in some hotel, and for him to even know about transitions into that sucks.
That's her, and honestly, that goes into stuff I don't really try to touch on too often, but obviously, like I could tell when Don would actually be on his runoffs, because of either rare nights I'd hear him leave the driveway, I'd hear the rocks as I was, awake. I could hear, throughout the years, I'd be like, oh, well, there goes Don, he's on a runoff again. So for the next 3 days or so, I knew I'd check on Candace or do whatever, because he'd out and hang a little bit.
Well, Rap's got a question he's want to ask you.
Yeah, I just want to know, can you hear me, Jodisue?
I can.
I just want to know how you feel about Ronnie Lawson's son.
I mean, that's what do you mean exactly, precisely? What do I think?
Everything that's happened recently.
I think his son's done what his son's done. I don't like it. Do I feel like that is a really light sentence and really fucked up? Absolutely. Do I like even Big Lawson? No, absolutely don't. I've made that pretty fucking clear. However, I don't think all the conspiracy theories around all of it, I don't think any of that should exist, and I don't think people should be doing what they're doing, which is trying to out the victim or the aid. I don't think that's right. I don't think them digging on Ronnie Lawson's family, all the people around him, their community, their church members, and all that's right either.
So you think his son should be protected?
From what? No, I mean, I think that's a little, honestly, too light of a sentence. But once again, unless all of us know the case details, or I mean,
what was the sentence? What was the sentence? I've seen it, but I didn't know what the sentence was. What is the sentence exactly?
It's the 20 years, but only supposed to serve one.
He only serves 1 year of 20 years, Ernie.
That's a lot sentence, bro, for that.
Yeah, and they won't say anything about what happened.
There's whispers coming out, and that's where the digging's coming from. Other people are trying to get to the victim.
He only serves 1 year of 20 years, Ernie.
That's a lot sentence, bro, for that.
Yeah, and they won't say anything about what happened.
There's whispers coming out, and that's where the digging's coming from. Other people are trying to get to the victim. They're already trying to out stuff, and you don't want to do that to a victim. They've already been through enough. And this place is going to protect anybody that's gone through that, no matter what the circumstances are. And also, it doesn't mean Big Lawson or his son's family or anybody else. I mean, they aren't, Brandon. They're, you know what I mean? The people
right. I understand what you're saying, but
they should be punished, tormented, or their lives further destroyed, because you got to think not only is the victim / survivor, lived through this, the family, they lose. It's a lose-lose. I mean, you've got a family dealing with, okay, well, here's this person we know and love that's capable of this.
This came from the feds when I talked to the feds, because I got interviewed about this bullshit when Candace was saying that Predator Hunter Nation took Don. You remember that shit, right?
Oh,
you remember when it was going on and they was like, he's gone, he's been taken and all that. Well, I've been interviewed by the FBI a couple of different times over there.
About the sisters and scraping. Yeah, I was in
there. Yeah, and they mentioned my name from the Capitol, all that bullshit. Anyways, I got
well, you did partner.
Oh yeah, they mentioned my name. I'm famous. I'm the famous Predator Hunter.
I feel like whole thing at the Capitol, right? Though.
What's that?
You were there when the Capitol thing happened, though, correct?
I was at January 6th. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, the thing about when they brought it over to it and everything, well, the FBI's question, and this is exactly after I talked to the FBI, I'm not gonna say the other Fed group because it's neither here nor there, but local
He talked to the FBI? Like he talked to TBI? Yeah, he talked to Lawson too. Lawson told him to get the hell out of the county, didn't he? Leave Tennessee. Leave us alone. Um, Brad knows this. He said that Jason Jensen, the PI that had the new chip on Summer, Ernie said he talked to him too. Wished him well with his chip. Since I'd already been talking to Jason, I just casually asked if he'd been talking to Ernie Shell. Nope, never heard of him. I think that's probably like he talked to the FBI and the TBI. I remember back at the beginning, Ernie said that he sat in a room and watched two NCIS lawyers question Don Wells. NCIS is for military. And a lawyer would be defending Don Wells if he was in the military, right? Ernie should know that because he was in the military, right? That whole thing didn't make any sense to me. Why would they let Ernie in the room anyway? Some of his stories drive me crazy.
Law enforcement should have done more. It's more in their hands that calls the feds in. They call the feds in. It ain't the damn feds jump on something. Local calls and asks for assistance to the feds.
It's when
Now,
they put it out because when Summer vanished, we had locals come in, surrounding agencies. We had Tennessee Highway Patrol and all them coming in interviewing first. And then they all determined by all of our statements and everything at night. And around midnight, they put out the Amber Alert, right? And then that automatically triggers the feds. Okay. And then they come in, and what happens is they had just let us out of the road for a few minutes to finally go get the kids and everything, something to eat. We were all starving. We were hungry, been out searching, And that was what we were doing that even when I went down the
so
hill.
was there a scent? So you was there, obviously. Was there a scent that was picked up, or is that fake?
Yeah. No, there was many scents from many places picked up, and over different days, all kinds of things. And there's a lot of that I don't want to quite touch on, or in places and certain things. But yeah, there was scent.
Can I ask you a question? When Candace agreed for me to be able to take a team and search that property around that area, and she seen that we had 500 right off the bat, I had 2 choppers ready off the bat, everything. And then all of a sudden she changes, and then she says you can't search the woods.
Well, she don't really. That's the thing.
Did he just say he had 2 helicopters ready? Like G.I. Joe ones? 2 helicopters. I wonder if Ernie even knows how to operate a drone.
Ernie, they don't actually have really anything to search.
I know that. I know that. I've been there. And I looked. I took a flashlight. I looked. But there's no way in hell a little 5-year-old girl would just wandered off in that area. It's too rugged, and the terrain is not for a 5-year-old. It would be like that.
Ernie, Summer did not just wander off into those fucking woods, never to be seen again. I promise you that.
I know
I'm
that.
telling you, she didn't.
I know
She
that.
didn't leave the house and wander off into the fucking woods, and I don't think anybody I've heard believes that or thinks that. Not without assistance would Summer have ended up so far away or into woods.
Okay, let's go to the next one. I can't promise I'll figure out how to do this yet. I appreciate everybody staying with me here because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Okay.
You can't hear from the top part of it because the L.
Okay.
Bingo. And you just said it, the assistance of someone. That's exactly right. When I talked to Don Wells, and Don Wells said to that dirty bastard predator that came through our basement door, you see, that changed the whole fucking timeline, the whole game plan and everything done. Then he stopped because he knowed he got caught. Open-ended question caught him with that. He knew then, I knew that ain't the whole bullshit that was even said was false. I knew that.
Look, I'll tell you, I don't think anybody came into the house and got her out.
That dirty bastard, Don Wells. Can you guys hear me still?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. What the
In my
hell?
opinion, Ernie is LARPing this whole damn thing.
Oh, I absolutely believe that. Don Wells, that
Absolutely
dirty
all of it.
bastard. What does he know about him?
Right.
He reminds me of Chris McDonough.
And now he's saying he knew Don Wells from even before the Summer Wells case. He knew him from drywalling. Sure, Ernie, sure.
I busted him out on that because he said he knew him from construction when he was an electrician, right? Those 2 weeks that he helped a guy wire up lights. And I said, oh, really? When did you work as an electrician? And he said, oh, 2005, 2006, 2007. I said, Don Wells didn't even move to Tennessee until 2009.
Good,
So he
because he
didn't know
did the
Don
same thing
Wells.
with Andy Bernard. He said, oh, yeah, I remember Andy from the Hay House. And Jodisue said, when did you work there? And then Ernie gave some date, and Jody's like, no, Andy wasn't in there during that time.
Andy did say he knew him, though.
But I don't think he really knew him. I think he might have
Recognized him from there.
Yeah, you know how you think you might have known somebody, but you really don't. And since he said he knew you, you might be like, well, yeah, maybe. I think if Andy really thought about it, I don't think he knew him.
No, he just
in
said
my
he remembered
opinion.
him, but Andy said he was in there a couple times, so he couldn't remember which time he was in there that he saw Ernie. I wonder if Eric Rush remembers Ernie.
Huh.
All right. Is it playing it? What's it doing?
It moved to a new tab. He's playing Steel Magnolias now. Maybe the arrow back.
I don't know what happened. All right. We're going to redo this. Everybody stick with me.
Yeah, that'll work. I still do things like this still too.
Low budget, low tech. No idea what I'm doing.
Now there you go. Are you still here?
I don't. Yeah, am I?
Yeah, present, share screen.
No, I lost the share screen. Wait.
It's under the present tab on the
Got it.
StreamYard side.
Sorry, you guys. I'll figure it out one day. Part 3. I lost part 2. All right, well, we'll do part.
You want me to put the part 2 link in the back chat?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
It was still stuck in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was walking through all this, it was stagnant, had the growth.
Okay, part 2's in back chat.
There, I'm in there now. I don't see it.
It's in this says private chat. I post it again.
Oh, wait. Where's private chat? Oh, got it.
Good.
Got
There
it.
you go.
Oh, thank the Lord for Constance Sue.
I don't mind.
Is it playing?
No, you've got to present and share your screen or share it again. Hit present down at the bottom on your StreamYard side.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
And I knew that ain't the whole bullshit that was even said was false. I knew that.
Look, I'll tell you, I don't think anybody came into the house and got her out. Like, I know that kind of to be false. Nobody came into the house and got her.
Okay. Okay.
But here's the thing, Ernie. If you pull up to that basement door, even in like the full size Dodge truck Andy had, like you really couldn't tell it downstairs. You couldn't even really kind of hear it at Grandis's camper. It's just the way, you know, the insulation, the layout, this and other. You could pull to the top of the house all the way store and all that, and you'll hear Dawn say that on.
Now you're talking about inside the bottom of it. You're talking about when you're inside the basement right there. You can't hear outside, right? You're talking about when you're inside the basement right there. You can't hear outside, right?
Right, but even upstairs they wouldn't really hear it either, unless.
Is it just me, or does it seem like he's leading her?
Absolutely leading her. And most people let Ernie lead him. And that's how he gets his LARPing bullshit. And Jody's not letting him do it.
He's like, isn't it? Isn't it? You can do this.
Mm-hmm.
She went all the way up around the turnaround into the front door.
Because the heels caress and hide the noise. I know how that is. We had a Hummer up in there. We had a Hummer. We took a Hummer there, but when I walked down, I seen how it was. The train was.
It is possible the car pulled up right there, and then I mean, you know where her swing is, right? And it's possible somebody just snatched her that quick. But I mean, there's also a million different things that are possible. But
so if the swing, so I've been up there. I've seen it myself. I know where all these positions is at and everything. I know. Yeah. Right there in the bottom of the house there, where it comes out, the door.
Okay, now if he's been there and he knows all this stuff, then why is he asking her if you can hear this or if you can see that, if he already knows it all?
And the more that Jody brings up an alternative theory, then, you know, the Welsh, you know, axed her with a hatchet, like you said. That wasn't even his first theory, though. But the more that she brings up ulterior, you know, scenarios, he's going to get pissed. I haven't seen this in forever, but I know he's going to start getting more talk fast, and he's going to start getting pissed because she's not playing along.
It comes out, the door and all that shit right there, what that is, it goes up, goes around, goes on over to the front of the porch and all that, with the little dogs and shit's at. I know where all that's at. I know how the terrain dips in, dips out, dips back up, goes around.
I know.
And it's got like a little cliff edge there. You know what I'm talking about on the side, right? You go over the hill there.
Yeah.
So, if a truck pulls up to the bottom, and right there at the door, you can't hear from the top part of it because the elevation is lower. That's what you're saying.
And they could hear if they're in the basement, because that's where they stay like at night, stuff like that. They can't hear you. And then if they're in the top level, they can't hear you. It's just something about the way that is. If you're parked right there in front of the basement, they can't hear you. Don't even know you're fucking there. Even in full size, big ass engines like, you know, the Dodge and things. I mean, they couldn't hear it unless you made the pull around all the way to the front.
So are you saying that your theory is that was a handoff maybe?
I don't have really any theories, Ernie. I have puzzles and pieces, and I work, and every day I wonder, and all the little things I hold, I've found, I've listened, you know, all these things, and all the statements, and all the things from all the others in person, and, you know, just everything. All the others in person, and, you know, just everything. Every day I work through them.
Exactly, Cinnamon Girl. He's not asking her opinion. He's telling her what it is, what it looks like. I don't understand what he's trying to do other than, yeah. Britney Spears fan. Did you, Fox, you left Kim for Britney?
He's trying to screw up an investigation. And this is why Ernie Shell, nor people like him, would be trusted to interview victims or suspects, because he puts it into your brain. He suggestively, what do you call it? Like Chris would, you know, Chris does.
Oh,
he suggests things to you. Yeah.
Yes, he's just like Chris McDonough, only Chris is a little more sly about it, a little more refined. Ernie's just bulldozing his way in there. This, and this. Just the calling Don a dirty bastard. That's like Chris McDonough. He fixated on Don right from the very beginning, too. Like a dog with a bone.
And
let me ask you a question. When this first happened, did you change your story in it at all? You never changed your story at all?
Nope.
And maybe think about something and add something to it later on.
Well, there are things like they told
me. You had to, obviously. You had to. Because when you start thinking, when you first come out, your natural brain thought is going to think of whatever's natural to you, whatever was immediate.
The first couple cops, they get served.
And the first thing Ernie's going to think of is predator, right? Pedophile.
Yeah, that was his first theory. His first theory was a drug debt or a pedophile. You know, Don had sold her for drug debt. Then I think it went to something about the bloody mattress and a hatchet.
Yeah, sledgehammer. Yeah,
Yeah,
sledgehammer.
and then the third one was something else. And now he says she's in the grave with what PG says.
Well, yeah, he just goes along with whatever the current
Right.
theory is.
certain things, and the next do, and then TBI, and the next do, and then TBI does and all this, and eventually it's like, you know, there's things they tell you to wait on that'll solidify things
Well,
like that.
the story gets repetitious.
Yeah, well,
It has to.
in
It has to. You've been asked 100 times.
it's like at a certain point, I know what I hear that day. It's like at a 5:30 point. You know, I'm turned around, I'm facing the electrical box in the cabin. I've got my shirt off, putting another one on. You know, getting ready, etc.
So here, let me ask you a question. And I know you've probably never been asked this question. What was you doing before that?
What?
You
Before
said you
what?
put a shirt on, taking a shirt off, right? Something like that.
Oh yeah,
Was
but
it hot?
before that,
Was it just because it was hot or something? You just changing clothes?
What the fuck?
Creepy.
Why do we care about Jodisue taking her shirt off and putting it on?
Because he's a creep.
no, I was getting ready because like after we hear the scream, we go out and look for all that stuff. We come back in. And the kids, they went to the main. I stayed in the cabin. I started getting ready because, you know, as you can see by the text messages, I released it publicly or whatever. You know,
Somebody comes here before. It feels like we've met before. Somebody come get her. She's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come get her. She's dancing
Jen's way of making it transformative.
Somebody come.
What?
That's Jen's way of making it transformative. She's adding those
okay.
clips in. Yeah.
Well, then that makes me make it transformative too.
Right.
Tipper, she's dancing like a stripper. Somebody come get her. She's feeling all the.
You might get a copyright strike, but
Your theory is that was a handoff, maybe?
I don't have really any theories, Ernie. I have puzzles and pieces when I work, and every day I wonder, and all the little things I hold, I've found, I've listened, you know, all these things, and all the statements, and all the things from all the others in person, and you know, just everything. All the others in person, and you know, just everything. Every day I work through them, and
Let me ask you a question. When this first happened, did you change your story in it at all?
Mm-mm.
You never changed your story at all?
Nope.
And maybe think about something and add something to it later on.
Well, there are things like they
I
told
mean,
me.
you had to, obviously, you had to. Because when you start thinking, when you first come out, your natural brain thought is going to think of whatever's natural to you, whatever was immediate.
Right? The first couple cops, they get certain things, and the next two, and then TB took a little. I was like, man, what the fuck? You know, and after I heard a thing and I knew it was like, yeah, that's what the fuck. But none of it makes sense with everything else. So it's like I always like doubted myself. It was like, no. But none of it makes sense with everything else. So it's like I always like doubted myself. It was like, no. You know, I know. And that day I didn't, it was like almost my brain didn't want to catalog because it was such a normal noise at 5:32. And it was like, man, something's, you know, but all these things come together, you know, and you realize, well, why? You're like, well, why the fuck were the cars going up and down over there at 5:30 and all this other shit? And
So there was cars, more than
there
one.
was a car, there was something. I didn't hear it come down, but I did hear it hit back up. But I know that it was one of the two heavier vehicles over there. So I
Okay.
know Candace or Grandis, you know, one of the heavier ones, you know, coming back up into the, you know, driveway at 110. And then at, you know, around 6 is when the calls for summer start, you know, where they're yelling for and things outside. And then at, you know, around 6 is when the calls for summer start, you know, where they're yelling for and things outside. And
So let me tell you what I did. Nobody knows about this. We took
God.
a vehicle right there in the middle part of the road there, being Hill Road. When you get right up
Here we
top of the
go.
hill there. And then we took something coming out of the hollow there just to see if we could verify noise. See if we could hear. Just to see if we could hear. And you
Are you
can
talking
hear it.
about
You
the
can hear
driveway? Talking about the road.
from the driveway. You can hear from the driveway. You can hear something coming up the road.
In her driveway or ours at 125?
And in her driveway on top of the hill there. Just to
Yeah.
make sure you can hear it come up the hill. You can hear the rock spot. You know what a rock spot is. The rock spatting. Anyways, you can hear the rocks kicking. You can hear that.
Lies.
Because you have to be able to hear that in order, because the road is so tore up and destroyed that you have to get up on the gas if you've got a regular vehicle to get.
Wait a minute. How would he know that?
He's LARPing.
He hasn't been there at that point, had he? When did you take the pizza? That wasn't.
I got a whole Ernie Shell pizza playlist with Candace, but I don't know. But I'm thinking they haven't been there yet, right?
I don't think he has. And what does he mean? He took. Tina ought to be in here to tell us what truck
If
he
he
took.
was, he was trespassing because Candace didn't allow him on a property.
I doubt you could hear anything down on the road because it's so wooded. And that was in the summer.
And Jodisue just told him, Ernie, from in the house or upstairs.
Yeah, you can't hear anything around the house. Yeah.
Nope, he's LARPing. In my opinion, he's lying. Any Pat said he hadn't been there yet. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Get up that sumbitch, right?
Well, no, it depends on if you know how to fucking drive around. It's like you've seen my right?
Exactly.
I could get my Kia Soul up that some bitch, but they couldn't get full drive.
But when you throw it down in gear, you throw it in bulldog mode. You throw it in lower gear, right? And it goes up it easier, right?
Their cars couldn't get full
Right,
drive.
right.
But
Agree
when you
with
throw
me.
it down in gear, you throw it in bulldog mode. You throw it in lower gear, right? And it goes up it easier, right?
Their cars made different noises, and as long as they're not driving, you can barely hear them.
But it goes into what we call bulldog gear. It goes up the road. You hear the rock splattering as it's climbing. You hear,
What?
And you can hear the rock.
Oh, if you don't know how to drive.
Well, I mean, like, not with all the cars and not the way we drive. It's like you could hear, like, say the red Subaru, right? They have.
What the hell, bulldog mode? He doesn't think Jodisue knows exactly what every single one of those vehicles they have sounds like.
Right.
Or
how to drive up a hard drive up driveway.
Bulldog mode. What the hell? I wonder if that's how he's driving today in that Mercedes van.
Well, I mean, like, not with all the cars and not the way we drive. It's like you could hear, like, say the red Subaru, right? They have. It would do this certain type of thing as it kicked over and picked up, right?
Because
And
the front wheel drive will do different than a rear wheel drive will. Yeah, you'll hear that.
No.
All cars that goes up that way. Go ahead.
But they kick in, the traction kicks in and picked up, right?
Because
and
the front wheel drive will do different than a rear wheel drive will. Yeah, you'll hear that. All cars that goes up that way. Go ahead.
But they kick in, the traction kicks in, it does a different thing. Dawn, you can always tell it's him in the white truck because of the way he has to do a little pickup and go, but the gravels aren't too bad. The two heavier ones, they do different things. One will grab differently, and I know the amount like the traction it goes as gears shift, and different things with each of the cars. We all know each other's vehicle sounds and things. Like I know, the other ones beside of them that are connected to their property, and their door slams and the work vehicles and all these other things. It just depends.
But which one goes into bulldog mode?
But we don't have to dog the shit out of those driveways like most people do or think they have to. It's like I could get my straight drive Kia Soul up that, and I know the public will up that, and I know the public, I've seen it driveway, but thing is I could get it up there just fine with ruts that would eat most trucks, and I could, get it around them and everything else, but, they couldn't get four-wheel drives or anything else up it. And,
well, like you said,
trucks, and I could, get it around them and everything else, but, they couldn't get four-wheel drives or anything else up it. And,
well, like you said, it just depends on how you drive.
How you drive, what what you're doing, whatever.
So who was driving these vehicles?
Which
The vehicles that you're talking about, referring to up on the highway.
Like up Candace's driveway.
What?
If you didn't hear me, that's good because I cussed. I'm sorry.
I thought you did.
I rolled my eyes really hard.
This whole thing is hilarious.
Yeah.
One I heard at 5:30. I don't know who was behind it.
Well, what about the other one? What about the other one that was drove?
The one with there's a flash going up the driveway that day as well. I don't know who the fuck, or what the fuck that was. And then, but at after 6:09, it was Candace driving, vehicle. But
when's the first time you seen Dawn? When's the first time you seen Dawn that day?
I seen him when he come down the main road, and Candace and everybody still at the end, etc. Ben Hill,
Right.
all the neighborhood was coming in to try to help the. We'd already searched on the other neighbor. I mean, but the others were coming in and floating in to help, and the others were coming in and floating in to help, and Dawn and Andy arrived about the same time. Andy's already talked to Candace. Dawn comes in just a minute or two later.
So wait a minute, Candace let Don or Andy know that Summer was missing, right?
Yeah, Andy stops the car. I can see. Andy's already talked to Candace. Dawn comes in just a minute or two later.
So wait a minute, Candace let Don or Andy know that Summer was missing, right?
Yeah, Andy stops the car. I can see him right there. Right at the.
Okay, so he stops the car. So this ain't a conversation through text or phone. She actually physically stops the car and she starts talking to him.
The car usually parked there.
Right. Okay. How far along was Don? Was he before Andy or after Andy that he came up?
He was after Andy, and it
He
was
said
just
after.
like a couple minutes.
Right.
Different.
So how was Don's expression? How was Don's?
I don't know.
Look.
I don't know.
Look.
I still hadn't, like, I could see the boys. And so I was still covered when I seen Andy stop and talk to Candace, and I could hear him talking. I knew she'd kind of let him know because I could hear parts of the conversation down that way. But then he was.
Why you lying? Why you lying? Why you always fronting? Why you crying? Why you crying? Why you always bugging?
Was coming on down Beach Creek Main Road, and I went back to the end of the guardrail just to flag him down, let him know I was out there. He seen me, he stopped, and I told him I was like, Summer's missing. He's like, I know. I was like, well, I thought that's what you were stopped down there for, but I just want to make sure, and I'm right here. And then he drove on down the road looking for this and the other, but in the meantime, I and the other neighbor, we made our way towards where the boys were and where they'd made it to, looking for Summer. And I talked to the boys, then we made our way back through the middle of the cleared field out between Candace's Hill and Main Road, and met other neighbors. I explained what Summer looked like, told them what we'd already searched and done.
I have a question. The guy that was riding his bicycle down the road and had the GoPro and saw the boys at the creek, how come nobody else saw him? Nobody else ever mentioned seeing him. Even Fred, who knows every time somebody takes a pee, doesn't mention seeing that guy on the bike. You think that's odd?
Yeah, I didn't remember it, but
Jodisue was standing right down there at the end of the driveway, right, with the flowers, waiting for Andy.
Yeah,
She should have seen the guy with the GoPro. He quick deleted his thing, but his wife said that he turned it into law enforcement. That was right at the very beginning. So he wouldn't have known the boys were at the creek from social media.
Obviously they knew there was everything kind of been covered by that point, just by two of us, but it's worth other eyeballs and everything. So they were searching and helping and starting to flow in, but then flow in, but then.
Okay. So let me ask you a question. When's the first time you met Benny Keys?
Met him?
Yeah.
I've never met Benny Keys.
Oh, Lord.
You never physically met Benny Keys?
Nope.
Okay, that's something I needed to know there, because I'd always heard that you met when he came up. I didn't know. So you just seen him, right? Did you just see him or something, or was you just in and out and seen him, or just?
I seen him come by here doing shit when he was visiting Candace and all in the past couple. When he was here for the vigil in June this year, with the 1 year, and then or no, he wasn't on this one.
So you do know that there was the messages I was referring to earlier when I first mentioned that to you, that there was a message that was talking about something about laundering money or something like that. Something about, I've got too much, I've got to get rid of some of this money, and it was supposed to be to you. You heard anything like that?
What?
You the fuck out of me.
Oh my God.
It was between you and BK.
The fuck?
I remember I showed you the one of the live things.
Larp.
I think it was said.
There was nothing like that ever fucking sent between me and Keys.
Okay, she's never met Benny Keys, only seen him when he came to the Wells. What is this money laundering? Where the hell did that come from?
He's trying to Columbo her into a slip up or something to where she might, take a sip of water and, aha, I got you. That's why he's not credible. That's why he should never be involved in a case. That's why he should never interview anybody during a case. He's a bozo.
Like that ever.
Okay.
He's a ninja.
So I didn't know because I've got a message. I just want to know if it's real or not. That's why I'm trying to verify the
Got a
validity of
message.
if
Who the
it's
hell is
real. I've
sending
got
him
something that's
texts?
like a messenger. I have to go back and look at it and find it, but I've got one that somebody sent. There
Yeah.
was a screenshot supposedly one of you guys are taking.
Show
was
it,
when
Ernie.
BK was grabbing money for
Right.
Cash App for Candace or something like that, and this happened to be on one of the screenshots.
I don't know what that is.
That's why when I wanted to talk to you back then, I mean, this is like way back then.
I've shown mine and BK's like entire conversation online, right? I've shown it, and then he went around at one point trying to like refute it by like blocking out certain things he said that I'd already shown. But he literally admitted to being the one that told Chase to have the handoffs between Gemini Hippie or whatever and Ginger Snap. Before it got to Chase, they were supposed to be checking the PO box because Benny said so, and then Chase was supposed to get it at the end. But he took credit for that and admitted to it to me in Messenger. But other than that, no, you know.
Okay, I just asking. I didn't know. I mean, I've got thousands. I mean, like literally thousands on this thing, and it's just screenshots. It's a lot of screenshots and stuff. But to be honest with you, I have never
more I've ever like spoken to BK like in like I won't even cooperate with BK this far. You get what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
so far,
right.
more questions in a legitimate manner than BK ever has or will ever get to speak to.
Okay, so now, like I said, I've never studied the case. I've seen things on the true crime community. Things a lot have come up about children being sedated.
Never studied the case, but yet he knows all this information and has thousands of screenshots. Who the hell would send him a screenshot of the case?
And maybe that's his first problem. Maybe you should study the case before you open your mouth. That's his get out of jail free card. Like when he gets caught up in something. Oh, well, I don't know. I never studied the case.
I think he's just trying to, because he doesn't like Benny, he's trying to
Right,
get her to say something nasty about Benny.
Exactly it.
Oh, yeah, Benny's involved in money laundering. Didn't you hear that? Oh, I think I lost it. Oh, darn it. I'm like the unhandiest person.
I've never met Benny Keys.
You've never physically met Benny Keys?
Nope.
Okay.
We're going to have to hear a little bit of the skin.
Okay, that's something I needed to know there.
Why do you need to know that, Ernie?
When he came up, I didn't know. So you just seen him, right? Did you just see him or something, or was you just in and out and seen him, or just?
I've seen him come by here doing shit when he was visiting Candace and all in the past couple. When he was here for the vigil in June this year, with the 1 year, and then or no, he wasn't on this one.
So you do know that there was the messages I was referring to earlier when I first mentioned that to you, that there was a message that was talking about something about laundering money or something like that. Something about I've got too much, I've got to get rid of some of this money, and it was supposed to be to you. You heard anything like that?
Excuse the fuck out of me.
Yeah, it was between you and BK.
The fuck?
I remember I showed it on the one of the live things and everything it was said.
There was nothing like that ever fucking sent between me and Keys like that ever.
Okay, so I didn't know because I've got a message. I just want to know if it's real or not. That's why I'm trying to verify the validity of if it's real. I've got something that's like a messenger. I have to go back and look at it and find it, but I've got one that somebody sent. There was a screenshot supposedly one of you guys are taking. It was when BK was grabbing money for Cash App for Candace or something like that, and this happened to be on one of the screenshots.
I don't know what that is.
That's why when I wanted to talk to you back then, I mean, this is like way back then.
I've shown mine and BK's like entire conversation online, right? I've shown it, and then he went around at one point trying to like refute it by like blocking out certain things he said that I'd already shown. But he literally admitted to being the one that told Chase to have the handoffs between Gemini Hippie or whatever and Ginger Snap. Before it got to Chase, they were supposed to be checking the PO box because Benny said so, and then Chase was supposed to get it at the end. But he took credit for that and admitted to it to me in Messenger. But other than that, no, you know.
Okay, I just asking. I didn't know. I mean, I've got thousands. I mean, like literally thousands on this thing, and it's just screenshots. It's a lot of screenshots and stuff. But to be honest with you, I have never
more I've ever like spoken to BK like in like I won't even cooperate with BK this far. You get what I'm saying? Like so far, more questions in a legitimate manner than BK ever has or will ever get to speak to.
Okay, so now, like I said, I've never studied the case. I've seen things on the true crime community. Things a lot have come up about children being sedated.
Okay, so I'm going to go to part 3, maybe. Stay with me, Constance.
I'm here.
Well, I gotta stop screen. All right. Share screen, part 3. Uh-oh, everything's gone. Can you share?
I got
link
link 3 in the back.
Okay.
I mean, I'll put it in the back. I'm slow.
No, that's all right. Not as
Okay,
slow as
there
I
it is.
am.
There it is. It's in the back chat now.
There's a part 4 too, and I didn't send you that link.
Okay, I'll figure it out.
Okay. Let's see Tupac.
It's very sick. It's very evil. I told you, or I not told you, but I told people what I thought. Exactly my opinion of the main piece. The only piece left is Summer Wells. So let me ask you a question. The little bit of woods that is behind the house there and outside the house, around the area there.
There's really not all the wooded area that's left right there belongs to other neighbors on their property.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It goes up and around. It's thicketed up and all that.
What does he mean I told everybody what I thought? He hasn't studied the case. He doesn't know anything about it. He's never been there. What does he mean he told everybody what he thought? We don't really care what you think, Ernie.
Jibber jabber.
With your little fake racetrack search.
Right.
Have you Candace, you ever seen Candace in there? Anywhere around there?
In the woods?
Yeah, in the woods, anything, going in the woods. Is she a wood person? I know she's a fishing person.
No.
But is she a wood person?
The woods person.
Okay. You see, she was scared to death of those woods. And I thought she was playing a game on that. I didn't know.
Well, she is not a wood person. She doesn't really, she's
Yeah.
scared of snakes. She's honestly scared. I think she doesn't know what the shit is.
Exactly.
She'd always call me with, what's this snake? What's that? And should I kill this? And what the fuck's this?
Who said she was scared? She did say there was a lot of bears, but I mean, it's a black bear, right?
Right. And snakes are scary.
I'm not an outdoor person either, but that doesn't mean I'm afraid of the woods.
And the kids were also, except for the boys, I mean, but they were all kind of like, but they did. I mean, they gravitate like children do towards more.
Right. You know, little boys. Yeah, they do. So let me ask you a question. During this time, I've heard this timeline, and this barrel. Remember the barrel, the one where Summer's in the
barrel came from out of the Parkway, and
Oh,
already had
God,
that
here
shit
we
spray
go.
painted on it because it was the last one out of a bundle of
She's
red
got
barrels.
some
that was for
straight
sale.
hair.
I can show you the fucking house it came from.
I love
I
this.
know where that barrel came from, but it was the one he had it spray painted on to sell the rest of the fucking barrels. So he had to keep going out there and putting up a damn sign.
So that was just a coincidence that it just said for sale on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
He's gonna get mad.
The guy selling the barrels is on all of our ways home. Dawn would have seen it. Plus, we all have barrels and shit. We burn in them. We collect rainwater, put liners in them. We do all kinds of things with them.
Right. Okay. I know the kind. You get the fresh rainwater out of it. I know. And you get the fresh rainwater out of it. I know you put the liner in it and you drain from that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Hell, I lived off that shit for a long time.
I lived off that shit.
It was nothing first but the fucking barrel.
Right, okay.
Last thing.
So, do you know exactly when that photo was taken?
It was a video of Summer dancing.
And it was screenshotted off the video, right?
Well, they have a still picture of it, but I think the video was not taken, but a few days before Summer vanished.
Whoa. A few days, too.
I know
Dudley was over there when the photo was taken, the video.
I did not put that bullshit there, but that is bullshit. It was 2 weeks. It was 2 weeks before Summer went missing. Wait until he starts talking about the rain.
Yo, Dudley was there, right?
Yeah, it was yellow upstairs in the background, I believe.
Okay. That's what I thought.
A few days prior.
So it did rain 2 days prior. I think it was 2 days prior.
No, it
Because I
didn't.
said something about the rain. Somebody said, no, it did not rain. Yes, it did rain.
It did too fucking rain down there. It did too, and it helped wash away bear prints and stuff. It absolutely did fucking rain. That's why there was enough water collected on the left side of the creek. It absolutely did fucking rain. Not long.
Because when it rains, it helps build that creek up that she supposedly went to, right?
Dammed and all that stuff.
Exactly.
but it was stagnant. When I walked through it, there was parts of it that had, even though it had risen, it had enough time to settle again, and so all the stagnation did, where they dammed it up, it was still stuck in there.
Mhm.
And I was walking through all this, it was stagnant, had the growth on top of it.
So is it true that CPS was supposed to visit 2 days after that Summer went missing, and they knew that prior?
Visit the next day or something is what the rumor is, but all I'm going to say is that CPS was already around, already involved, because during the land sale stuff, Candace would be messaging me going, is that, this, or who the fuck are these people parked down there? I'd message her. I'm like, is that DCS, or is this, who the fuck is down here at the bottom, And that's when we figured out the whole land, all this stuff for weeks prior to Summer vanishing. DCS was already involved for weeks.
Did Don ever make visits to these little hotels? They call them open in.
What, did you have something to say there, Constance?
No, just boom. That's, it's another one of Ernie's. Ernie goes around telling all these stories about the Summer Wells case. If you look, I have a playlist called Ernie Shell Summer Wells. And there was so much bullshit that he said about this case that I couldn't bring myself to play it. I'd play a video and I'd just get so pissed off that I couldn't do it. I just put it in the playlist. So if you ever want to go over there and see any of those, to see who the creators were that had it, if anybody else wanted to go through there to debunk all his bullshit, because that's why everybody says, Ernie, you got the closest to the case more than anyone. No, we didn't.
Oh, yeah,
Ernie
I love that.
Ernie started that rumor himself.
He started the rumor about Candace gagging that time she was drunk. She was
digging up a body.
Yeah, she was at a campground digging a campfire surrounded by people. She wasn't moving a body.
Because
but yeah, he won't get away from that. Yeah, he likes to think that, he was so close to her telling her. She said she talked to him in 2 days. She didn't tell him she'd tell him everything in 2 days.
Right, exactly. It's things like that. Exactly.
She wasn't going to tell him anything.
Right.
House hotels and have separate affairs with other victims.
I don't know the term other victims, like, he's maybe
when I say hotel, when I say these open-end hotels, them extended stay hotels, like a lot of child predators and child traffickers like to use.
I just know he got an Knoxville and other places on
to use.
Here we go. Child predators, traffickers, Don, and a hotel.
I just know he got a Knoxville and other places on his benders here and there, and I don't know what kind of hotels he stayed at. I don't know, and other things are just, off bounds. But I mean, I don't know. Hell, letting him anything is Don didn't have to do it. Hell, he would. I mean, I don't know. Hell, letting him anything is Don didn't have to do it. Hell, he would cheat out in the open anyway.
Well, yeah, I mean,
and do weird shit. Hell, he do it right there at the house with Candace in the fucking house. So
and the kids also.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids? How would Ernie know if the kids were in the house?
And if the kids in the house does not mean in the same room, in the same bed, right up in their business. I mean,
everything he does has to have a sexual component to it.
Right.
When you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail, right? So,
and if Ernie Shell knows about these sleazy little open-ended motels, I'm sure law enforcement knows about these sleazy little open-ended motels where child predators go. And if child predators know that that's where the cops know they're going, I'm sure the child predators have, spruced it up a bit. Maybe they're going to a better level motel.
Ernie's been there and interviewed them. Ernie's been to the hotel that Don used to take Summer to. Other people I've talked to that knew them said that Don didn't take Summer anywhere to Knoxville. So I don't know where Ernie's getting that.
He didn't study the case, remember that.
Where he gets all his stuff.
The kids also, right?
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Did Summer really ever have a chance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really, honestly, same thing I told law enforcement, because they asked. And, had it been 2 years prior to this, I would have told you no. But I really thought things were getting better. But then as it comes into view and everything kind of becomes clear to you and you stop and think, the changes that were taking place that we were seeing that we thought meant things were getting better. And actually, I think it's semi-correlated with Candace being there. Things were a lot calmer in ways if Candace was there, I guess. And also, there's all kinds of things there that are just off bounds and topics for me. But There was definitely less of the there's definitely less of a whole lot of things when Grandis was present. And so I think Grandis was actually the change, but I wrongly attribute it to Summer getting bigger and wrapping Dawn around her finger, because I probably have Dawn wrapped around her little finger, and wherever Dawn was, Summer was. And he very much paid attention to her, doted over her, and she was not happy unless she was Dawn. And oh, it's just.
Let me ask you a question. So,
Right over that, didn't we?
Commercials are better than Ernie's question. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, then I'll tell you the answer.
Yeah. Exactly, Screen Name.
let me ask you a question. So, do you believe that what came out about when Dawn would take showers with Summer?
Yeah. And because I've said it, and so have others. We all.
Okay, I just want to listen to this because Jodisue has a different opinion on this here than she does later. But of course, Don wants to discuss this. I mean, Ernie. Anything to do with the naked children.
Like, I didn't know about it until right before she vanished. Like, I never asked
No, when you say right before she vanished.
That's why they called you bitch.
Oh, come on, we just saw a commercial.
Vanished is a term that, something just vanishes in thin air. That's not the case with Summer Wells, though.
In terms of answers, that's all you can really say. She's gone. Somebody is responsible for it. But she's been taken. Somebody is responsible for this because she didn't walk off into the goddamn woods like Winnie the Pooh. All right. Somebody is responsible for this. But until we know who and how,
So
what do you really call it? And
when did you find out that he did take showers?
I mean, like just right before she vanished. But the thing is like, well, you excuse it because they're a little bit more based, they're a little bit more heel type, and you think, well, whatever. But then you're also like, a little old for that, but okay. All these other.
So in your mind and in your heart.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is where I got a lot of heat during the Summer Wells case, because I said, did they see Dawn come out of the shower naked with Summer naked, or was it a term Dawn showered with Summer? Now, my mom would shower with us girls, but she would run us through, and then she would go through. That didn't mean that she was in there with us girls naked at the same time, but she would go into the bathroom and we would all shower. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's where I always thought. I don't know if it was ever mentioned that Dawn actually came out of the bathroom naked with Summer naked.
She never saw it. Jodisue never saw Dawn at all.
I never heard anybody say that they seen Dawn come out naked with Summer naked.
She
just like I never heard that Dawn said he slept naked with Summer. I heard Summer slept with him, but I never heard Dawn say that he slept naked and Summer slept naked.
No, I think that people put together bits of information. But Jodisue, she couldn't see the bathroom from the truck. She said she never got out of the truck. Andy was delivering pot and she was in the truck. She said she saw Candace in the doorway and then Summer come running up naked screaming for a towel. She didn't see Dawn at all.
Yeah.
And, I have a recording of that, her saying that.
Michelle, I agree with you. Ernie, when Ernie tells these stories, I have another clip of him telling this story, a couple clips in the Ernie Shell Creek playlist. When he's telling these stories, he's grinding in his seat a little bit too much.
Oh yeah.
He's getting off telling these stories.
Absolutely, Michelle. Absolutely. Like when he played that kid snuff film or whatever. Oh yeah. Right. He loves it. He loves this shit. He lives for it. Okay, so
you thought it was wrong. It's wrong, right? I mean, you obviously had to second guess, oh, well, some parents are different the way they raise their kids and all that. But a grown man taking a shower with a child is definitely wrong.
dynamics were a little different over. So it was more like I
So
didn't like it
exactly,
personally. It's not something I would approve of personally, but they're
because it
that.
was natural. It's natural to them. It's natural to all predators to do that. You know that, right?
Okay, that's
Well,
part that really pisses me
right.
off. That's making a lot of assumptions there.
You
One
know
that
that.
does a
That's right.
predator.
You know that.
You know, I question the bathroom setup, whether there was even room for Don and a child in that
Right.
shower. I mean, those showers aren't very big. Don's kind of a big guy. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
not sure. I don't know. Could be. But I'm not going to push my perverted scenario into here like Ernie.
Well, not really. I don't know, Arian. Just because they're. That's the thing. You don't want to project. You don't want to say, "Well, somebody's guilty," because this isn't something I
I'm
do.
not saying he's guilty on it. He's guilty on it. Not saying he's guilty. I'm simply calling him a predator.
Well, he's obviously a predator of some variety. I mean, we know by his own admission to me, he's done that to at least one of his sisters.
At least one of his sisters. I mean, that's yeah. He's admitted that. He admitted that.
Some of his other habits, especially while intoxicated, are like, cringe. He's obviously an abuser, just like he knows Monster is an abuser. They're both like that. Therefore, they're both predators. Both you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know
So
what you're saying. So when you refer to monsters, are you referring to some particular person as a predator
I'm
too?
talking about our particular abuser. I'd just rather not use their name. But you get what I'm saying? Like, there's all kinds of predators, you know what I'm saying? And I understand he's done that to his sister by his own admission. I understand that, all these things, but that those things are true, but that doesn't, he did something to Summer. It doesn't.
Right.
But what's the coincidences of that?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, would
None.
you say that it was slim? I mean, if you have someone, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot or nothing like that, but just hear me out here. If you have someone who sexually abuses this one, he sexually abuses his sister, he's done all this other stuff, he's a predator, and
Other stuff.
his actions speak.
Yeah.
This is where my blood boils.
Oh, yeah. I agree. I'm right there with you. He's obviously done all this stuff. What I don't like is people keep saying, "Oh, Don's preferred age is 5." His sister was 5. That's it, right? What makes you think his preferred age is 5?
And here's another, when I got all, people hated me saying I was a Don Wells lover. No, I wasn't a Don Wells lover. But I just know that in some families, it's very common for stepbrothers and stepsisters to play house. Now, I don't remember the age of, of Don and his sister, of the stepsister, but they call it kissing cousins for a reason.
Well, he was 12 and she was 5, so there was a big difference there.
There is a big difference, but is it a developmentally delayed 12? I mean, I'm not making excuses for him, but there's so many variables that, to me, if you'd have went on to offend another 5-year-old, another 5-year-old, another 5-year-old, and another 5-year-old, then I would have said, yeah, Don, I'm looking side-eyed. But a sibling, I don't. This is why I just quit doing this case, because it got me in way too much trouble with my not backwoods thinking, but
well, I don't
see another side.
I don't by any stretch of the imagination think Don's a good guy. I really don't. He's done a lot of terrible things, but I don't know, put these all together and say one instance is his habit. I don't think that's true.
Trying to accuse him of doing something to Summer or of being responsible for June 15th and her vanishing.
I just have a problem with the June 15th.
Okay, well, June 15th. If the
timeline. I mean, yours fits better than what I've heard. I'll be honest with you. Your timeline does fit better than what I've heard. I've heard 17 different timelines, and that's one thing that threw me plumb off. I was like,
"Wait, he never studied the case."
Right.
What's he talking about? 17 different timelines.
There wasn't even 17 timelines mentioned throughout the whole case. There might have been,
and this is exactly what
5 that I heard.
When the main eyewitnesses the people, the eyewitnesses, and the suspects are one and the same, there is no leads. That's criminology. That's criminology. That's
Oh,
criminology.
Jesus.
That's
What the fuck do you know about criminology, Ernie?
Right.
That's
That's about every crime, Ernie. There's
just
there's
about to say
witnesses.
something bad here.
Yeah, there's
prison
witnesses,
tactics.
and there's
And what
people that watch are involved in crime and witness. That's not criminology, Ernie.
criminology would be if he had some smarts and some training.
That's jail tactics. Everybody knows that when you have a suspect and you have a witness, and if they're the same people, there's no leads. It's called a what? Dead end. That's what.
Oh my God.
What? Dead end. That's what this is all set up to be, anyways. I think it was premeditated. I think it was planned ahead of time. I think it was all set for everybody not to be there and people be in place. Whether there was a handoff or not, I think there's something. Off or not, I think there's something.
One of my puzzles. One of my puzzles and theories is that something was done on purpose, and that they expected people to say, like with our monster, people expected him to be on time from work, just like I did, right? But often he wasn't, because he was too busy doing things next door to work. But the thing is they expected him, like I would that day, to be in by 6. So everything's trying to. And then there are other neighbors that come in at certain times, and I think there's a possibility that somebody knew all these things and knew we'd all be kind of outside at certain times of the day or waiting on certain people, and therefore we would be, quote, witnesses. You get what I'm saying? Like almost like a setup.
Right.
I don't get what witnesses to what? Nobody saw anything.
Right. And who's going to plan an abduction when there's witnesses outside?
Well, and how would they know when Candace was going to come home with the kids?
Right.
Plus, the truck was there, so you'd think that Don would have been home because his truck was there, right?
Mm-hmm. Candace was a variable. You didn't know when she left or when she was coming home, what she had to do that day, how long it was going to take her.
Right.
I understand that. I understand 100% that.
I think that could be a possibility. I think other times, well, that's also the time, if you think about it, if somebody takes Summer, like even a stranger, whatever, if they've been watching her or timing when all of us are coming and going. Of course, most people get home or around home anywhere between like 5 to 6 o'clock in the evening, because down there it takes you a little bit. Everybody knows it's going to take you a little bit to get there from whatever job you're working, Eastman, Hardee's, Walmart, doesn't matter, right? So you put most people getting home in Beach Creek around a certain time in the evening, working, Eastman, Hardee's, Walmart, doesn't matter, right? So you put most people getting home in Beach Creek around a certain time in the evening, and therefore if you're going to kidnap or harm a little, you're going to have to do it within a certain amount of time. So they're trying to be.
You know what? If they were watching Summer and going to kidnap her, they could have taken her a million different places. In any store in town, at what's the Gatlinburg or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't risk coming up to their house. I don't think.
In my opinion, I think it was opportunity. They seen her there and they just took the opportunity. Whoever, whatever, it was a perfect storm. It was just the perfect opportunity. Don't think it was
so
planned.
It could just be a coincidence, right? That and a predator watching and waiting to take her.
But that's usually not how. But that's usually not how predators work. Predators work on instinct. They're like sharks. They're like sharks with blood in the water. When it's first instinct, they go off on their own mind. They go off on their own mind. They don't sit and wait, because most predators are afraid to get caught. And here's the fact: predators work on instinct. They're like sharks. They're like sharks with blood in the water. When it's first instinct, they go off on their own mind. They go off on their own mind.
I've heard this time. He says this all the time. It's a frenzy. Their eyes turn black and they go into a feeding frenzy and they don't know what they're doing. They just go crazy.
He sounds like he's going crazy, actually.
Absolutely.
Right there. He's doing his script, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
They don't sit and wait, because most predators are afraid to get caught. And here's the fact of the matter is, a predator don't just sit and wait. They'll sit and wait in disguise, but there's no way to disguise yourself on that hill. Anybody would see somebody waiting. So I say it was a planned attack. It was planned. It was planned that she was taken. That's my version of it. I mean, anybody else have any version? A predator just went in the area and sit it there on that hill and watch for 2 or 3 hours, kids play or whatever the hell, and wait for a moment to go, because they'd have to know. First off, they'd have to know the terrain. They'd have to know the time schedules of everything. Everybody has the clock, Jody. If you get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, hold on 1 second. If you get up at 9 o'clock in the morning every day, and you have to have coffee, then you have to have coffee at 9 o'clock in the morning. Everybody has what we call a repetitious timeline. Everybody has it. That's how a lot of people get caught.
No, they really don't. But here's the thing, Ernie. There's
That's good.
I love I gotta take a drink. No, they really don't.
Exactly, Cinnamon Girl.
Timeline.
all kinds and varieties of predators, okay? But on top of that, you're discounting the fact that
Well, tell me about that, the variety. I've never heard. Okay, so variety. Tell me about that. I want to learn more about that. Please tell me, please.
all kinds of different predators that do all kinds of things for different reasons, and they all stalk and hunt in different ways. And some just do go off the spur of the moment type of shit, right? They see an opportunity. They're opportunists, more like scavengers than
Misty, Dee Dee. Who else? Just wanted to say hi to some other people that are coming in. Listening to him makes me think he has been a predator. You wouldn't be the first person to think that. Michelle, this is him running his mouth. I think he's high. He's talking like at double speed here. He's getting more and more worked up.
She might have him split up.
But
Jody clipped this from his video.
Well, Jodisue sounds normal though.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
More like scavengers than hunters, and others actually do hunt and prey. And they come up with plans, and that's part of what they get off on is the planning and the plotting and the watching and, you know, all of that unseen, unknown, whatever. But
how does she know that too?
Here's the thing, Ernie, you're just counting the fact that there are dozens and dozens of people, you know, coming and going for this property sale that are out of state. You also have
Hold on, wait. I was counting on the fact that you would do just like you just did. You just explained to me every single type of predator about it there was. Now, my question to you is, who taught you that? How did you know?
Well, Ernie, I'm pretty well educated.
But
how do you know, Ernie? Who taught you that, Ernie?
Right.
How do you know that? I was counting on you doing what you just did. He talks in circles.
Where'd you learn that at? Where'd you learn that at?
What do you mean? Where did I learn?
Where did you learn that at? That ain't taught in education purposes. That ain't taught like that.
Oh my
That preterism is not even taught. That preterism is not even taught. That class you pretty much just taught me a class just now. But where did you learn that at?
Oh my gosh! Common sense, you fool!
That was a class. Is this the class that Ernie? One of Ernie's classes that he took to learn about predators?
How did you know that there were certain types of this that get off on these certain plannings of this? You see, only experience of someone of that nature could even say that back to me and reply it that way.
I've been a victim of predators, Ernie, and because I've been around enough in my lifetime, I just spent 3 decades almost with one that is so monstrous you all can't believe it. Now we're turning around and trying to use it to further abuse me and my children in Tragedy Pimpville. And the mask is good, the cornbread's good, and it's not fun for us because you all have no idea how bad that was. I've been around all kinds, Ernie, of monsters and predators. But on top of that, from the time I was very little, I've studied psychology for funsies, and I have educated myself beyond what, you know, school building.
Okay, so you educate yourself through experience and through endurance and through endurance. Now, here's the thing though. Here's the thing on Jodisue. When you were second guessing yourself on this, Dawn in the shower with Summer and all that, when you were thinking like, you know it's wrong.
It's not something I would do. But I mean, there's a lot honestly in the area that are very.
He just can't get past that.
No,
he can't get that out of his head.
Base more he'll like, and they wouldn't think a second thing about it, right?
No, anybody. No, I mean I've never seen that, and I lived in the hills. I've never seen, you know, like a grown adult take a bath with a, what was she, 5, 6 at the time? 5-year-old, 6?
Candy, you can straight kiss my whole ass about this, but I stayed and put my kids in danger, right, bitch shit, okay?
So nobody's trying to defame you or nothing on here. Nobody is. You know, I don't think no natural person, I mean, would see that way.
Do you think that's right for somebody that survived, for the kids who have survived, who actually made it out fucking alive and didn't end up a potato? Do you think somebody like Cotton Candy's cool doing that to people who are survivors and fighters?
Okay.
Don't read chat. Don't read chat. The chat's gonna say whatever the hell. You know that. You've been a part of this long enough. You know how chat does. Chat's gonna be for you or against you.
But I mean, bullshit comments are fine, but the ones that, you know, terrorize the shit out of survivors are not okay. Especially in a community where they say they care about people like fucking Petito and Collier and that. I mean, you can't.
Okay, that's the end of that. And we'll do part 4. If Candace puts that in the back. You already got part 4 back there.
Got it.
Oh my god, you're awesome. You guys all have this figured out before we're done. I swear.
I knew you would.
Shut up, Miles.
Like I said, I quit you doing all my tabs at once because I screwed myself up. I just got to where I would just, I don't know, I'd goof them up. So I just go one tab, one tab, one tab. Close one tab, open one tab.
Well, now that I'm on my laptop, I can see there's more things here that I need to learn.
You have one place to think where summer would be at. What would you say?
Is it sharing
Off
it?
the top of your head, right off the bat.
Let me look. Yes.
Okay.
To me, if she's still here in the area.
Why would you say she's in the area? I say anywhere.
No, I'm saying if she's here and in the area.
Okay.
And it was maybe over on the 15th. I would say that she's somewhere, probably in the woods, probably in one of the hollers with less eyeballs, somewhere in the woods between Ben Hill and Bayleton. That would be my guess.
But you said the woods was out of the question, though.
I
On
mean,
the property, right? On the property.
Yeah, on the property. She's not on those properties. She's not inside Ben Hill.
So you think somebody's done away with her?
I mean, that's obviously a possibility, Ernie. And if she's alive, I don't know where she is.
But why would automatically, see, for me, I can't give up hope on a child's life. I never could. It's
Hope
hard.
on it. Possibility, Ernie. And if she's alive, I don't know where she is.
But why would automatically, see, for me, I can't give up hope on a child's life. I never could. It's
Hope
hard.
on it. I mean, I've stood here since the day and watched everybody else give up hope on her immediately before even dark and say she was dead and talk about her in past tense. And I was the only one that told all of these people just to wait, to give her a chance. It'd only been a couple hours, just to wait and give her a fucking chance because she might be able to get away. And we all knew she could run and fly like the wind. To give her a fucking chance. So I've not given up hope on Summer at all. I do not think that she's dead. I think there is a very good chance she's out there somewhere alive. But every day, every minute that passes, cannot be.
Okay, so you say you think she's alive right now? You think she's alive?
I think there's a good possibility.
A good possibility. So let me ask you a question. Why automatically say if she's around the area? I didn't say around the area. Where would you think she's at? Anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world right now. Where would you think she's at? Anywhere.
And there's two options. She's alive, and I don't know where the hell she's at. Somewhere around the world. Or if it ended, chances are it, would have probably ended on the 15th, like others speculated before fucking dark, and I didn't take well to. And, I would say that she ended, chances are it, would have probably ended on the 15th, like others speculated before fucking dark, and I didn't take well to. And, I would say that she's somewhere, between Ben Hill and Bayleton or so. But there's other things in there that you got to think that, we all kind of know and things that y'all don't, but make certain things a possibility. Oh dear. Hey, Cotton Candy, here's a news flash. All children sometimes.
Uh-oh, she's got a problem with cotton candy boobs. What's Ernie's point in this? Seriously. Yeah,
LARP,
I guess
play the hero.
insert himself. Try to get information from her, but yet he won't take in any information from her. He's got to give it to her. And then try to get her to regurgitate it.
He could buffalo her by saying, well, he could lead her into the questions like he was, and that she would side with him, and that everything he'd be saying would be true. And then he would say, see, Jodisue Brown agrees with me.
Be brats. Wow.
What did you think about Summer Wells, Jody?
What do you mean? What I think about her?
What did you think about her?
As in,
anything. Like, I mean, when I say her name, what comes to your mind? I mean, you know her, you hung out with her, right? You was like watched her grow up. What did you think? What did you think about her? Give me your, a description of. I mean, just give me a little bit about it. Like, she was great. Just go on from there. What comes to your mind when I say? Your, a description of. I mean, just give me a little bit about it. Like, she was great. Just go on from there. What comes to your mind when I say Summer Wells?
A lot of things, a lot of which I don't want to talk about publicly and not for public consumption. But I mean, she's a child, and she was brave and kind of a smart ass. She would honestly look. She'd give her brothers a run for their money. You'd hear them pick on her, and see them pick on her. And initially she'd start crying. She'd be like, "No, fuck this," and then she'd have all of them running from her.
So we're talking about Summer. She would cuss and stuff at 5, 6. Okay. So
6 now, but
right, six now. Okay, 5. That's what I thought. So she could cuss. I mean, she cussed. I didn't know that.
I mean, all of them did. I mean,
oh, I didn't know that. Like I said, didn't study it. Didn't know that. So she cussed and everything, and she was just like, was it like a competition with her and her brothers and stuff all the time? Like, I know growing up into the mountains like I grew up in, we don't always try to compete with each other and all that.
well, in a competition, there's brothers and sisters. Man, they're just kids. They're siblings. They do what siblings do. There's no competition or anything.
Okay. So
like with Ernie and his sibling.
One thing you said, is you can't talk about it on here. Does it break you down?
What, this place?
No, not the place. No, not the place. You said you'd rather not say about here when I asked you about Summer. You said this is something I'd rather not talk about on here.
I mean, I don't. It's like the public. They've made her this.
But I'm asking you, not the public. I'm asking you what you thought about Summer Wells. Like, and you told me, you told me a little bit about her brothers and stuff, and sisters, or brother and everything. But you didn't say. Go ahead.
About these children, they're not any of your all's goddamn business. And all the public, they stand here and they make her some figurehead and they project on her what, and they think all of, and they think all of these things and they make up all of these fucking fairy tales in their own head, or they put these personality traits to a 5-year-old that belong with like 30 and 40-year-olds. I mean, she was 5 and now she's 6, and she's a child that was home. That's her parents, those are her siblings, that was her life, and all the details of who Summer is, and her parents and her life are all not for public fucking consumption. The personality traits these kids hold out of a dysfunctional family should not be public. There are things when I think about all the kids that break my heart, and throughout all the years did, but, not everything's sunshine and rainbows, and not everything's good or perfect. And, but these are children you're talking about. Their lives, their details, their personalities, and things, all the public will do was then take it and.
Bitch, please get the fuck on my face. Bitch, please get the fuck on my way.
I agree with her there.
Me too.
Yeah, the things that happen with the kids. Although she does talk about them later.
See me, man. Yeah. When I run up on like, you see me, hustle hard, stack paper. It's alright. Y'all haters.
I didn't put that there, I swear.
That's her. That's good. Transformative pause.
Make whatever they want to it narratives and talk about Summer and pick it apart. And they've already picked everything around Summer apart enough, and they don't deserve every piece of her or the boys or everybody else's everything.
Hold on. What do you mean every piece of her? Is that just like her whole as a body, as a?
Oh my God.
They don't deserve.
Oh my God.
Story.
And all these salacious details instead.
Did he just say that?
The most. I mean,
yes, he did.
Everything around her. I mean, you watch him from the first moment. I mean,
yes,
so
Ernie,
sick,
her body. Mm-hmm.
Pieces of her body. Is he crazy? Yes, we know he is.
Facebook and like searchers are still in there, and here you go and you tap Facebook, and the first thing that pops up are these pictures of this place, and others are doctored of her in the back seat of the car and the milk jugs, and they added bruises and
Yep.
knocked out teeth and made her
That's
lips
right.
look all these ways, and it is fucking disgusting. And it's the same thing they do with any detail of summer of her life. They just put negatives and full. I mean, you know,
Everybody quit with the comment. Everybody quit with blocking everybody. Everybody has a right to say things. Let them talk. Let people talk. Because I want to hear some of these people. Because like I said, I don't know the case. I never did know the case. I was brought into it unaware, and then ended up to what it is. But if Jodisue, obviously, you know, she's telling her point of view about it, and that's all you can say about it. Like I said, the last piece of missing puzzle. I think there's one missing puzzle piece left, and that's Summer Wells. That's always been that. That's to me.
If he doesn't know anything about the case and he's never studied it, then what is he even doing?
LARPing.
Yeah, I know you keep saying that.
It is. I mean, that's the way I would go about looking into things. But with Jodisue, I know, during this time, everybody's got new factors that's come in, new characters. The first of the week, it always came in. Hell, there was Andrew, people like that came in. Hell, I was brought in. Everybody was brought in. Jose's brought in. He's not with.
You weren't brought in, Ernie.
So, but it was just like a damn what do you call it? A TV show or something.
There you go. New characters were brought in. I was brought in. It's like a TV show. It's all a movie, right?
People was just brought in and out, pushed. Oh, they was the suspect here, they was suspect there, So it came out that was it Andy? Are you still with Andy, right?
Fuck no.
Oh, you're not with Andy. Okay, I didn't know.
He got married recently, Ernie.
He got married recently. What is your opinion on him? Is it maybe is it possible he was involved?
I do not in any way want to talk about him, especially things that are occurring in our personal life.
Okay, I understand that.
He has no boundaries.
Does he carry out what he's been doing still with the new woman?
See?
I mean, both of them.
He has no boundaries. Didn't she just say she didn't want to talk about Andy?
Murder. Yeah, I just don't want to talk about it, Ernie.
Okay, I understand, Jody. I understand. You have nightmares over it, don't you?
I just want to strangle him.
That's it. Too bad there's not more.
If you look in back chat, I put my Ernie Shell Summer Wells playlist. That's a whole bunch of different creators. If you ever want to get really mad or go through more of this, that's all the creators that I found that had Ernie Shell Summer Wells content. There's like some 90 videos there. If you find one video, go click on that creator, and more than likely they'll have a bunch of Summer Wells videos.
No, you're right. Yeah, Eve, can you put Constance Sue's link in the chat? I don't know how to take that from back chat and put it in the...
I could put it in there.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. But it'll frustrate you. I have some of the Summer Wells broke down to playlists, but it got to where I couldn't even watch it. Like I have the whole pizza debacle when he's taking the pizza up there, and the cops get called. I have all that in the playlist because Miss Daisy wanted it one time. But
I think that was Benny. Didn't Benny call the cops on him?
Yes.
You know what I wanted to talk about, and then we'll end this, is the Jason Jensen and his tip that he got about brothers. He wanted one brother to tell on the other, I know what you did. And then he said it was a robbery that went bad. That just got me thinking today. And I thought, what if, we know Don brought back quantities of crack when he went to Knoxville. Well, and obviously was doing something with it because he wasn't using that all. What if somebody came up there to buy drugs, say two brothers? What if one went in the house to transact and the other one in the car grabbed Summer?
Could have been. That's been my theory all along, that it was.
Is that a possibility? Is that the vehicle that Jodisue saw tearing down the driveway? Then Candace wouldn't have realized that Summer was missing at first.
or that there was two people or someone waiting in the car.
Yeah. I don't
I've
know. I'd
always
have
thought in my
to.
mind that it was opportunity. Like she just happened to be right there at the right time as someone. I don't think anybody came from the city and lurked out there and stalked the property. Like, people were saying that, oh, that's not going to happen.
No.
I don't believe that happened. I believe it was just an opportunity, right? Perfect storm.
Maybe while they were at the horse pond, maybe, somebody set up to Candace. Well, we'll come by later. Maybe that's what Hunter knows. Hunter would know that. That would keep him quiet because he wouldn't want to. I don't know. That just popped into my head today when I was thinking of
I still think
possibilities.
she's alive. I still think she's alive, in
She
my
could very
opinion.
well be. She could very well be. If somebody took her.
Mhm.
I mean, they're finding kids right and left the last
Right.
month that have been, gone
On the
for 5
stairwell.
years and 4 years and 3 months. And yeah, she could very well be alive. She was a cute little girl.
Mhm.
Funky.
I just can't see anybody bringing themselves to do the final deed. And I know I'm naive and I know it happens every day to beautiful children and things like that. But I just think someone took her on the spur of a moment, didn't know what to do with it after that. But in my opinion, they just didn't have the heart to. In my fairy tale world, she's just living as a normal child and somebody that abducted her house. I know I'm probably.
Think there's a whole ring of traffickers around there. I mean, TBI seems to bust drug dealers and trafficking rings every other week. So I mean, they wouldn't let that go on. I've heard people say that. Oh, they're just waiting. They're giving it time till they catch the top guys. And like, it's not like a drug ring where you have a, supplier or whatever. Trafficking ring doesn't work like that. That's usually just a couple guys or, there's not hierarchy in child trafficking.
Stone Vet has, I don't know if you watched him, but he has the guy that does the videos with him called Dirty Hippie, and he's an actual detective on the case. And he had to do these child abuse cases. He had to do them. It was part of his job. And he said, nobody wants to talk about this. Nobody is, wanting to talk about this. Ernie Shell is a weirdo for wanting, and he didn't even have to do this. He's inserting himself into cases that he hasn't even, seen. Dirty Hippie was a detective, and he had to see it. And he said, Ernie's a weirdo for wanting to talk about it.
He loves talking about it.
He does. He absolutely does.
I think he'd talk about it all day, every day.
And what better way to be a child predator than to say you're a predator hunter? Because then you don't look weird talking about it. You can get all your jollies in one scoop because, oh, well, I'm the predator hunter. I'm not a weirdo.
I thought that right when I saw that fake racetrack search. That was the very first time I ever laid eyes on Ernie. And I thought, he's not a predator hunter. That's a predator. He's acting like a predator. Mm-hmm. I heard that was the stuff that he found was stuff he actually took there.
That's why everybody says, oh, poor Ernie. People have just picked on him. People can't just leave him alone. Why don't you let Ernie be? Because Ernie, from the very first day on YouTube, inserted himself as a lying bozo in a missing child's case and LARPed hereafter. He brought on every bit of it himself.
My channel, I don't personally attack people, but if you're going to lie, I'm going to call it out. And Ernie gives you a lot to work with. He really does. He's not the only one.
Sit here and be talk normal through these videos. I would love to sit here and quiz him on them, but he ain't going to do that. He's going to get ugly. He's going to get sexual. He's going to get you're ignorant. You're stupid. You're stupid. Lisa, when do you call my brother? Oh, I'm going to fool you. He's just going to go there. And it's just ridiculous. He's just a bozo, a doofus like Stone Vet.
You and your murderous boyfriend. He said that the other day.
Yeah. And so he does that. He puts that into everybody's head that Lisa is having a murderous affair with the boyfriend. People can't just talk. A man and a woman can't just talk.
He's
And I love it when he says things like, "Well, wait till Lisa finds out the new girl. There's a new girl." Like you're
Oh,
going to
yeah, he's
stomp
right.
off all mad.
I saw one person say, "Oh, I'm going to write Shelby and say I'm looking for love and steal him away from Lisa." Put money on his books while you're there.
Right, right. My gosh, you can't see where Lisa's into true crime. She's into researching things. She's into genealogy. It's just common sense that she might want to look at a true crime case and go into the genealogy. And
It's only wrong when I do it. Other people can
right.
call and talk
They
to
have
people's
pen
neighbors
pals.
and mailmen and everybody else, cousins,
What
nephews.
better way to go to the source if he wants to talk to you? If he's willing to talk to you, that's fine. If you don't want to, he can say, kick rocks. But they have prison pen pals,
Yeah,
they want to
those
talk to somebody. Maybe he
some of
wants to
those
have a voice
women.
for his case.
Some of those women are a little wacky.
Yes,
they say I found him on Rate a Pen Pal or whatever. I already explained that I just wanted to hear his side. If Ernie wasn't such a big mouth and, an internet celebrity, I never would have known about Shelby or his case. And I was just kind of curious to hear Shelby's side. So I wrote him. Now I wonder Eric Rush has a story to tell. I think I'll write him.
And we know he's in jail and can be pinballed too,
I already added him as a contact, actually.
Yep. And see, and I have all these things of doing this. Like, I was raked through hell again when I looked up Dolly Vision's record and found out all his charges. Everyone's like, how can you go real life? I was like, he's being accused of outrageous things. I mean, the first thing I'm going to do is look at his record.
Well, you're kind of people make themselves a public figure.
Yeah.
Right.
And if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. But if there's something there, you're like, well, imagine that.
You can go ahead and look at mine. I don't even have a traffic ticket on there. So
Ernie told me to investigate him when I first, started talking to him.
He was like,
investigate me, huh? Yeah, he was like, investigate me, Constitute. This is my Facebook. He sent me his resume, and even you should see this resume. It's 6 pages long.
Oh my God, I would love to see that. That would be hilarious.
Oh my God, I'll have to email it to you. And it's been shown on many places. He told me I could show it. He gave me permission to show it. It's tell me you've never put out a resume without telling me you've never put out a resume. I was always taught 1 page, 2 tops. If you're like skilled in a lot of stuff, 2 pages tops. Because when employers are going through them, they're flicking through them one at a time. They ain't gonna choose those 6-page resume.
What could it honestly be on there? Because he's like
jibber jabber. Jibber jabber. No jobs. His licenses, of course, because he gets all these licenses,
I was going to say, there's no jobs to put on there. And that's what you're supposed to put on a resume. Nobody cares that you joined the Girl Scouts at age 5 or whatever.
Well, I said, Ernie, you have a bail bondsman license. Where did you work? I have a cosmetology license. I went to cosmetology school. I never worked a day in my life as a cosmetologist. I hated it. I've got the license. Doesn't mean I'm a cosmetologist. I hated it. You could have the license to do this, this, and this. Doesn't mean you work today. Who did you work for? Who did you work under? Were you a good employer? That's what I wanted, I call you up. Was he eligible for rehire? There's only so many questions you can ask. Like, is he eligible for rehire? What were his job duties?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to know what his training was. Through this whole thing, I only want to know what his training was. Who trained you to be a predator hunter? Who put all that in your mind? Because in my mind, that's all jibber jabber in your mind of what you think predators are. Because you're a predator.
He said he lived. Yeah, he said he lived it, but that's all bullshit too.
Right.
Well, I found out a few things that I'm going to be bringing out about why his family turned against him and some other things.
He said he was passed down from a long line of predator hunters.
Yeah.
drag that
Yeah.
man behind her, you know.
What bullshit.
Oh my gosh.
Robo Granny,
Yeah.
I wonder if Ernie is scared Shelby will finally tell Lisa the truth about Ernie and Jimbo's involvement. He doesn't know anything about Ronnie King. He honestly doesn't. And he said he doesn't think Ernie had anything to do with it. I don't know. He doesn't understand the whole thing, why they blamed him. Honestly, when I saw Jimbo 2 weeks ago tag Kevin Dixon in I probably shouldn't say this, but tag Kevin Dixon in his flea market post, I
seen that
thought
too.
Kevin Dixon was the person that was in jail for 9 days for Ronnie King's murder. What if they pinned it on Shelby, who'd recently gotten out of prison, to get Kevin Dixon off the hot seat?
Move on, dirtbag. I've talked to 2 people that Ernie has slept with, and they've said it publicly, so there's no shame in their game. China and Asia, and they both have stated that there's nothing there to see.
Hi, Lisa Kleckner. Somebody anonymously sent me a picture of what you're talking about. Why? I have no idea.
There's a whole video. And you know where those pictures and videos came from? Ernie let.
Oh yeah.
Dang, what was her name? Yeah, Loving Life. Was it Loving Life or I don't want to say the wrong name, but one of his mods take over his email to do his email for him, and she found those pictures in his email.
I have those pictures too, but I have a close up of just that that somebody sent me recently.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
I threatened everybody with the inch of their life to better not send them to me because I don't want to know.
I thought about using it as my avatar.
616. Yeah.
I don't know why that's a thing. Sending male creators dick pics around, but anyway.
Yeah,
why are they sending them to people to let people send them around?
I don't know, but Ernie, all he had to do to prove it wrong was to show his thigh, because somebody said he had a birthmark on one of his thighs, and all he had to do to correct the information was to compare his thigh to the picture thighs, and he never would do it. So just saying.
Yeah, one of those pictures was horrifying. I swear I'll never be the same after seeing that. Move on, dirtbag. Nobody wants to sleep with Ernie. Do you notice he goes to bed alone every night?
He's got I don't know if I should say that here, but yeah. We don't want what he's laying down. I gotta remember it's not my channel.
Okay, so I'm going to end this. Thanks, everybody, for being here. I promise I'll be better next time. Thank you, Constance Sue. I could not have done it without you.
I'm going to jump down.
Okay, I'll practice tomorrow, everybody.
Good.
I appreciate everybody. Go check out Jen C's channel. She's got a not recent stuff, but some really good old stuff from 2 and 3 years ago. And check out Constance Sue, of course, who has extensive playlists on anything to do with Ernie Shell. Thank you, Lurking. Thanks, everybody, for being here. Thank you to my mods who are awesome. And I'll get better. I swear I will. Thank you. What day is today? Should I say have a good week or have a good weekend? Whatever. Have a good tomorrow.